はい、どうも、こうりゅうでございます。ということで、今回、ナルコーシス第4回目、続きをやっていきたいと思います。前回は、もうぐだりにぐだって、コンパス2にたどり着き、そしてコンパス2で、またいろんな幻覚に襲われ、そこでクリアしたら下で、そこはまたなんやろね、不気味というか、英語で不気味ってスプーキーって言うらしいですね。それちょっと知らなかったなって。不気味な場所があるんですよ。待ち構えてるんですよ。もうで、後々確認したら、僕は取り忘れてたって言っていた ID は、彼の、コラタス A のものでございました。右のデータ、ある人おる？ある。ある。やっぱこっちのデータがあっちに出てくるのか。だから彼が、僕が忘れてたって言ってたキャラクターで、一回ゲームオーバーになったら多分それは続いてるんやと思います。保存されてるんかなって。だから撮ってることになってるんで、おそらくこの2人、あとこの人フェラン、ファイコ、でもおそらくフェランが一番82？ 生年月日あれでっていうのは申し訳ないけど、なんかでも結構僕に似てんねんな、フェランって。交流フェランこっちのがなんかで、キーなのはこの2人なんですよ。またスキプリング、同じ年齢なんですよね。シニアダイバーでしょ。で、米国ステータス不明か。まあいっか。イベントログではこの11のところまで行って、おそらく12、13、14とやめてあると思いますので、続きをやっていきたいと思います。なんかトイレ入るのをためらったっていうのがあって、そのぐにゃぐにゃの、幻覚を超えたすぐ後じゃないかな。そこやと思います、続きは。っていうかね、FF のカードが欲しい。できればもう3ヶ月で買っとかないとなって、毎月1ヶ月はきついなと思った。案外足らんもんやなってどこ？どっから？そのためのマニュアルはない。何言うてんの？あれ、トイレは？ここ降りてきた後？夢であって。マジかよ。
You're very candid when describing some circumstances. Times when you felt crippled with fear, coming across the bodies of friends and colleagues.
Yeah.
It's clear you care, but there's an undercurrent of detachment in the way you present some of the more difficult moments. Was that your intention?
No, I've heard that before. I just did my best to paint a clear picture. When it comes to empathy, there's no manual for that.
どこで区切られるか言うてくれ。おい。なんやねん。めっちゃ戻された。これは想定外やったな。うわ、マジけ。ちゃうもんね。うわ。なんやねん。なんやねん。うわ。おい、おい。よっしゃ、頑張ってくれ。声出すこうぜ、おい。することねえんだ、おい。でも、ちょっと進めるぞ、おい。あそこで、あそこで、ハルポンさん、こんばんは。めっちゃ戻された。はぁ、夢であって。いや、もうちょっと進むぞ、うんま。一緒やないかい。知ってる？もうっていう人はもう前回の見てください。もうなんやねん、もう。
I have to ask again. Was it luck?
Conditioning and
どんだけ戻されんねんな。
That's how I got down there
や
in
っ
the
た
first
やん、こ
place.
れ。
That's how I got out. It's about keeping tethered to the tasks.
コメント届くのは早かったですね。右上出る前に終わりましたからね。こんな声、ボイスとのやり取りが、ボイスでのやり取りあったから行ったかと思ってんな。そろそろええか。オッケー。もうほんまなんやねんな、ほんまにもほんまにもほんまでも。あ、せや。あそこ行かれへんね。強制やもんな。逆さまなってる。でここに来ると、あのタイミングはいまいちわからん。久しぶりにこうりゅうさんの声聞けた。いやー、それ良かったですよ。あ、そうや、とりあえずこれを調べてからか。パスコード見つけますわ。前のサムネにしたいうに6ね。もうなんやねん、もうなんやねん。あれゼロ。 でもうそのまま行くよ。やったんだここはもう前回。はい、次はこう、次はここや。見せなさい。3はいはい、5桁揃ったね。ドアをアンロック。なんよもう。パスコード正解、よかったね。なんやったん昨日の数十分返してくれ。それで2時間以上の尺作っとったんかいおい、この野郎。もうな、知ってます、これ知ってます、あたし知ってます。何回もうあなたも好きね。
You saw terrible things. And even if you made it to the surface, you couldn't count on being rescued. I mean, I'd have lost my mind.
レスキューじゃねえ
Did
んだ
you
よ。
ever feel like you were losing it just a little?
いや、この大群に昇級しないそうなの。
When they found me, I'd been floating on the surface for at least 5 hours. I talked with therapists and trauma experts for months. Said I was hiding the hurt. But it's not true. I made mistakes down there, yes, but did I lose my mind? No. No way.
はい、取り戻した。取り戻してもう何分経ちました？ 2 分以内には戻しましたね。戻す作業はなんとかいったよ。あれ、奥にいるカニのとか。でもあいつやろうもんなら簡単にパキーンって割ってこれるよね。でここには行ってないですね。でここ次行きましょう言うて終わったらあそこまで戻されてたんですよね。なかなかひどいことをしてくれるもんで。これは照明弾があるだけの部屋。照明弾のため、照明弾1個のための部屋。アウトラストの電池やないんやから、ちょっと O2 を補給 しに行きますよ。しっかりとした噛んだ。僕今右のベロを噛んだ。これですね、体は左スティックで動かして視点は右スティックで動かしてる分、なんかねたまに変なんですよ。最初は操作慣れるのちょっとだけ手こずりまして、ただ酸素量があるからな。これもなんかありそうやな、後々。もういろいろ幻覚見せられたからな。こん中に何かあったりせえへんの？開けたりとかさ、ないんだろうね。ここの方が良かったんか。右上読み込んどったぞ。なんかなんかやばいことなってない？誰かの目線になってるぞ、あれ。で、あれ おや、でなんもないんかい。痛そうホラーゲー、あ、そうですよ、一応ホラーゲームです。もう酸素一つで、あと死体とか、えどこ行ったらよかったんあれ。待って、ついに入り口あっち行っときゃよかったんか。もうこういう初見殺しもあるんじゃあるんですけど、たまにふとしたらまあ回避できるやつもありますね、初見で。だからちょっと今のは、あ、こいつ来たな、後ろ行って逃げたらええわって思ったら、余裕の笑みじゃないけど、余裕で後ろ振り向いてもうなんか雪か氷かない塞がれとって、雪ちゃうわ、氷で塞がれとって、あ、ここやね、よかったよかった。もう98あるんやったらもう行きますよ。あれ何やったんやろ。でもどうしたらよかったんやろ。何の音。これはまずいな。これはまずい。うわー、メタンガス漏れとか関係ないやん、あれ。あいつなんやあいつ。誰や、中。何者。物理的に。いや、僕早く出口よっていう。やっぱ一発 KO の分焦りますよね。で、戻るところも心配になるから、ちょっと死んでられへんっていうので。で、戻る場所が、ここって分かった瞬間の、何でもござれよ状態ですよ。だからか、ここに。だからこれはあいつやったんか。まあでも、あれをクリアするほかないですね。待って、あれ落ちたらあかんやん。いや、あれ落ちるのは正しい道なんですけど、ただしやられへんぞ。やられへんぞ。は 瞬間移動してくれてねこいつ。はこれは万事休日やん。ありがとう。
This entire experience is defined by the fact that you came back alone.
あれ
Your story started with 20 people, but ends with one.
そうやねんな。
So when it comes to telling those stories, you're the only one who can.
Yeah. There's a responsibility to get things right. For the record.
あ、そうなんよ。あの子すごいいい子なんですよ。でも待って、なんかいや悪いやつおるぞ。わしより悪いやつおるぞ。やっば、危なかったやん。大丈夫？うわ、こんなんなってるやん。とかきなさい。ん？あ、何に当たったやろ。どけ。とりあえずあいつすぐ2回選んで上がっておかないと、あの緑のオーラに包まれた子がすごいいい人っていうか助けてくれるんですよ。道しるべになってくれるという。あ、マジで？そう、この子。こいつらが退いていく。なんなんやこいつら。てか待って、あいつおるんちゃうの？クラークアクセみたいになってるやん。あっち？ちょっと待ってくださいね。避難ポットアクセス。あっち行くの？嘘どうやって叫んの？一気に全部なったけど、あれ避けるとかあったんかな。うわ、またや。また出口が分かりにくい。すっごい分かりにくいとこ来ましたよ。どうすりゃいいんやろね、あれ。で、こっからでしょ。無限波動 何それ。なんかこれで照らさないとあかんとか関係ないよね。もしかしてこれ大丈夫か。超難しいんやけどこれ。危ない危ない危ない。あっかそうこれやん。フェラン。てかやっぱりフェランそうやったんや。彼フェラン話が急すぎてさ。
Welcome back to Open Air. I'm Emily Kaler. If you're just joining us, my guest is Kip Mattis, sole survivor of the Ocean Nova disaster. His first book, Hell or High Water, is a harrowing account of his ordeal. Earlier, we talked about the life aquatic, escaping the flooded habitat, and being lost on the seafloor inside a half-ton titanium diving suit.
ちょっと待って、酸素だけちょっとやらせて。やっぱフェランに追われてたんか。出てくる顔全部あいつですもんね。プルプルプルプルプルって出てくる顔が。
Kip, I know this might not be easy.But I'd like to talk about the end. Can you read that for us?
Yeah. The list is getting shorter. The hatch opens with its usual reluctance, flooding the room with light. The pod is there. I'm going home. Tomorrow I'll be the sole survivor. But for now, I'm not alone.
How did you feel when you figured it out?
At that point, and that close, I was running on fear. So when I saw another suit in the room, it's almost too much to process. I couldn't believe that it was...
Virgil? Is that you?
Virgil made it. Just like me.
How did you get... I thought everyone was...
I'm locked inside the pod and he's locked out.
Can you hear me? I can't stop the launch. There's no override.
He's not coming back.
Oh, God. I'm sorry.
And that's on me.
30 seconds to evacuation.
So are you saying that if you did something differently, that Virgil would have lived?
That's right. Until I saw him. Fear in his eyes. I thought I was the only one. It was a bad call.
This can't be happening.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, God. I'm sorry.
Oh. 降りるんかな。まあ、戻ってこないですもんね、ダイスポットって。
You didn't kill him.
Really? Who did? Bad luck? I'm responsible. Look, I'm up here talking with you, and he's still out there.
Oh. そうだよな。彼は結局誰やったんやろ。あれ勝手に住んでる。視点だけが動かせる状態ですね。そういうのな、ずっと助けてくれた彼は何やったんやろ。導いてくれてた彼は、彼女どっち？おっ、あ、はい。スタッフロール、エンドロールを迎えました。中が朽ちていってますね。僕としては ホラー要素としては、ホラー好きな人で考えたらそりゃもうキリがないですよ。でもナルコースとしての演出なら面白かったんじゃないかな。もうちょっとあってもよかったと思うっていうのは僕の思いかな。そう言い出したらキリないねんな結局。うわーでも生えて、なんか海藻が生えてきた。結局彼は誰だったの？結局誰だったんですか？じゃあもうほぼ終盤だったんですよね、僕言ったあれは。それはあそこまで戻されるわ。まあこれでなるほどっていうトロフィーを先ほどいただきまして、それは何なのかっていうのが
Kip,
いま
it's
したら
been more than a year since all this
プレイして
happened.
みてください。
You wrote a book and told your story. Are you ready to be done?
Yeah. It's time to move on. Get myself working again.
Kip Mattis, thank you so much for spending time with me today.
Thanks for having me, Emily.
Emily, Open Air Unlock。オープンエアアンロック。どういうこと？ここでやっと自分が何者かに気づいたっていう。バージルやったんですね。これがマタさんやったんや。ね、これが主人公やと思ってたらバージルだったんですね。結局彼のアイディアはどこで手に入ってたんやろう。オープンエア。
From KQDB in Minneapolis, I'm Emily Kaler. This is Open Air. The Oceanova project captured the global imagination when announced in 2016. 3 years later, a small crew of miners and researchers made their home more than 1,000 miles from shore, 2 miles beneath the sea. On February 2nd of last year, the $2 billion installation was battered by shockwaves resulting from an undersea earthquake.
バージルを操作してたんか。
My guess.
あれはちょっとじゃあオープンエア最後に全部流しますか。
From KQDB in Minneapolis, I'm Emily Kaler. This is Open Air. The Oceanova project captured the global imagination when announced in 2016. 3 years later, a small crew of miners and researchers made their home more than 1,000 miles from shore, 2 miles beneath the sea. On February 2nd of last year, the $2 billion installation was battered by shockwaves resulting from an undersea earthquake. My guest, Kip Mattis, was on site as an engineer when the habitat, Compass 1, began to take on water. He escaped with 2 colleagues, eventually finding himself alone on the seafloor in a high-tech dive suit. He endured 6 terrifying hours before reaching the surface and rescue. He was the sole survivor. His account of that day, Hell or High Water, was released last week to critical acclaim. Our reviewer calls it a haunting and poignant high point in the tradition of timeless, true-life survival stories. Kip Mattis, welcome to Open Air.
Hello, Emily. Thank you for having me.
There are so many incredible moments in the book, but it's hard to put those in perspective without setting the scene. So before we begin, could you talk a little about Oceanova and what it meant to you?
Oceanova was once in a lifetime. They're breaking new ground, making something meaningful. Mining methane hydrate frozen beneath the seabed. There's alternatives, but none so plentiful. It's clean and safe. I couldn't say no.
Okay, before we go
これは
any deeper, I'd like you to help me set the scene. Can you walk us through what happened, how it all began?
Sure. I guess I'll start at the beginning. 10:02, February 2nd. We were 50 miles from the epicenter. But an 8 on the Richter scale makes that kind of distance irrelevant. The shockwaves hit 6 minutes later, striking the south face of the hab first and hardest. 27 minutes in, with that kind of concussive force, even the sealed modules were compromised. After that came the ocean. By 10:33, only safe havens in a sub or one of the suits.
There's a passage where you describe turning inward for guidance, and it feels important. Would you mind reading that for us?
Check your gear, trust your training. It's one of the first things you learn. But the second they fail, you fall back on what you know best. For
英語がわからん
it's
か
the
ら
list. This time, it wrote itself.
英
Keep
語わから
breathing,
へんから
find
どこまで
others,
進んでんのか分かってて
and get the hell out.
恥ずか
That's
しい
Kip Mattis reading from Hell or High Water. Now, I think it's safe to say that this book, your experience, is... well, it's about pressure, isn't it?
When it's all bearing down on so many levels, it's got to be managed. You can't shake the pressure.
So as you said, after the earthquake, you didn't have any way of making contact... after the earthquake, you didn't have any way of making contact with the surface.
Well, I mean, it's hard to describe the state of devastation. And I tried in the book, but yeah. Reaching the surface was off the table, physically or otherwise. So it's simple. Hitch a sub to Compass 2 and hope
そう
others
飛
do
ば
the
してもう
same.
たね
Which you did after a pretty incredible ordeal. And we're jumping ahead a little, but when you got there, things were different. Can you talk about that?
Normally, the habs are lit up top to bottom, all the time. A lot of the gear was waterproof. Some of the lights and monitors were still running. So it wasn't dark, but it's fading. Like the whole thing's on life support.
We now know that at least a few others survived the initial
ギリ
destruction.
現在では
Some managed to get themselves into dive suits, like yours, and tried to do just that. None of them survived, though, which seems to underscore the fact that, even with a clear course, the pressure can still get to you. And I guess that being down there for months, how can it not?
Yeah. It's relentless. I mean, the isolation is unnatural. Little problems start to spiral. Any baggage you don't check at the surface.
なんだ半分できるかな文字。
Some find ways to cope, others struggle.
How do you mean?
Well, time kind of stops, right? And watching life go by inside the bubble is cruel. The ones that care get a head start learning to live without you. So the grief comes first, whether or not you're really gone, which feels like they already let you go.
You had to confront loss on an entirely different level. That's evident when you write about finding one of your colleagues for the first time. Dr. Pahlavi?
Yeah, that's right.
Was that the first time?
No, not exactly. No. I mean, I've seen death before, but not like this. Up here, the impact's usually more abstract. This is intimate. It's like when you pass an accident on the freeway. All the possibilities run wild. But then a song you like comes on, or your exit's coming up, and you've moved on. Back to normal.
What's it like living in a habitat? I mean, there were 20 of you, including scientists and engineers like yourself.
文字が半分な
Sardines in a tin?
これなんとかなれません
They're
か
planning on 60, 75 once the whole thing's staffed up. So just 20 of us felt hollow. There's not much time for recreation, but the options are there. They did their best to keep us happy.
But not exactly carefree, I guess.
Right. We even had this saying, in God we trust, everything else gets triple checked.
ここ合言葉を
But
隠
so
したら
much
あかんやろ
diligence makes every
びっくり
aspect
した
of
わ今
daily life
読めるか思ったのに
Each task or item, like getting into a suit or going outside, has an equivalent weight. So, for getting cargo or yourself over to Compass 2, the shuttle's the most efficient option,
このじ
relatively
こ
speaking.
の時代に
The
スクロー
protocols.
ルじゃないっていう
The
ね
lack of sunlight.
滑ら
breathing
かな
recycled air. How do you cope with all of that?
Well, they give you shots, and we do these checkups with the surface every 2 weeks. The little things are tough, the stuff you have to live without, as well as the new inconveniences you have to accommodate. They kept the heat up, but the weight and presence of the ocean,
これ
you can't shake that.
続けます
Gets under your nails and gums like your teeth are coming loose. And then at some point it recedes. You might not notice that till you're topside, but it's always there.
You describe this feeling that you had midway through that escape might be impossible, which led to thoughts of suicide. I have to ask, was it something you seriously considered?
I was just being pragmatic. But thankfully I never had to get serious. But as a last resort, I mean, the prospect of just wandering, wearing myself down, that's pretty grim. So,
あだからギブアップを考えた
yeah. So I did. Thought about giving up. With that much time to think about nothing. Just about anyone would. Thing is, the suit's designed to keep you safe, even from yourself. Makes it hard to take the easy way out.
It's ironic that the suit, the one thing keeping you safe, it was like your tomb. It successfully kept you inches from death for hours.
That's true. Regulators busted, hemorrhaging air. But I made it. I mean, the ADS is an incredible piece of technology.
レギュレー
Mine
タ
took a lot of
ー
abuse.
口にはめるやつですね
Tracks all this info about you, heartbeat, oxygen intake, biorhythms. Everything but your odds of survival. Still, does it make it better knowing how bad things really are?
別の日に収録
Keeps
した
out
んか
what
な
you need to be afraid of. Only the fear's trapped in there with you, and it's thriving. So yeah, maybe you're safe and dry, but inside you're drowning.
More with author and Oceanova survivor Kip Mattis after the break. Welcome back to Open Air. My guest today is Kip Mattis, sole survivor of the Oceanova disaster. He survived 6 breathless hours at the bottom of the sea. Kip, in the beginning, you weren't alone. You had some colleagues, J.B. Castillo and Dr. Cora Vanderoe. They actually started out together. You managed to board a sub and, well, I won't explain it all here, but at one point, you're all headed back to Compass One in search of other survivors. And then things go horribly wrong. Now, you were prepared, but what happened next caught you completely off guard. Can we talk about that?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
I was hoping you'd talk about the moment when you realized that the ones you collided with were, in fact, the ones you were trying to save.
It was horrible. I mean, the odds of us finding them in the first place were poor. I sure as hell didn't expect to run into them. I don't know. I mean, I never found out who was in the other half of the wreck. Not alive, anyway.
We were talking about protocol. By your own admission, there are instances where you didn't follow procedure. There's your radio and Cora. Granted, this was unprecedented. But as you said, second-guessing puts lives at risk. Do you think the outcome might have been better if you'd just followed the rules?
Well, it might. But there's no way to know that.
So you're lost and looking for some way out of all of this. And really your only option now is the other habitat, Compass 2. And what's most unsettling to me is you're in this dive suit. You call it a walking coffin. I can't even imagine what that takes.
It takes everything. But when you're losing your strength and your senses, well, like I said, it helps you focus on what little's left.
Even setting that aside, so much about your ordeal is almost beyond most people's comprehension. Were you ready for this? Or were you lucky?
No luck.
You mentioned possibilities. Does a part of you wonder where you'd be if you'd never gone down there in the first place?
Not really. I mean, that kind of thinking won't get you anywhere.
Was there ever any temptation to leave stuff out? Did you worry what people would say? While writing the book, I mean, what happened with you and the others, the conversations you had, the choices you had to make.
Right. I try to address that from the start, and by the end of the book, I hope it's clear. I'm not proud of some of the things I did, but I'm not leaving anything out. I can't.
I've been meaning to ask, how did you get the name Kip?
That's thanks to my old man. My full name is Kipling.
Like the author?
Yeah. Unfortunately.
But your mother was the literary one. They divorced when you were pretty young. Can you talk about that a little?
She was determined to be unhappy. Could never really see how that might affect everyone else. After my dad took off, she just got worse. Colder.
How do you mean?
Well, she's never especially good with people, and that's his job. So after the initial shock wore off, all of a sudden it's all about self-reliance.
You mean like tough love?
Maybe. It's like she thought the stronger she made me, the earlier she could stop, like worrying about me.
So she was like checked out, absent?
No, not exactly. It's actually kind of the opposite. I mean, it's almost in Dad's absence, she was reminded I was even there in the first place. And it was like, well, okay, soon you'll be old enough to have your heart broken too, and I love you, so now you need to learn to be strong.
Well, that's a good thing, right?
Well, sure, if it's the thought that counts. I mean, the intent was always there, it's just the execution. Here, look. The last day of 3rd grade, we drive down to the dock.
また声のト
She
ーン変わっ
points
た
at her watch, tells me, close your eyes. She puts her hand on my chest, says, 10 seconds. And then I'm falling. I'm gonna drown. I mean, I'm sure of it. She's shouting, not to interfere. 10 seconds later, her hand's on mine, pulling me up. The next day we go again.
1行分ぐらい飛んでんねんな。
I'm up all night watching the clock, trying to count 20 on the dot.
これでき
I
んの
knew so long as I, hold out. 40 seconds, 45, she'd come.
これゲーム中に流れてたやつ全部ですもんね。
My first thoughts, maybe I messed up the count. My second thoughts, I'm on my own. I open my eyes and the sun's behind her. But I know that shape. It's familiar. Arms crossed, staring down at me. Anyway, by the time I climb onto the dock, she's already home.
では次、最後ですね、パート4。
Methane is a greenhouse gas, one of the most potent. Other industrial disasters may have been more severe, but Oceanova was groundbreaking, like you said. It could be years before we know all the consequences. We might never understand the ecological impact. It was very expensive, and 19 people died. Like it or not, you're the human face of all this. So what do you say to your critics?
I believe in what we were doing.
But was it worth the cost?
I guess that's one thing that's hard to remember. For anyone who wasn't involved, I mean, is that you all dealt with danger on a daily basis.
1行分。
This was serious work.
1行分飛んでんだよ。
Inside or out, the work is volatile. There's a lot of try and try again. You spend all this time getting things lined up. And
何
then
度
a
も繰り返
pipe
す
cracks and
消
methane
費する
smoke's jetting out.
Try again.
Everything stops
Few
until
bullets,
it's
yeah?
patched up. Which knocks things off course.
You're an engineer. You're a problem solver. You value logic and precision. You talk a lot about times, distances, values, and yet there were some challenges you couldn't solve.
なんか違う、なんか、
Numbers are easy. It's people that are complex. Numbers bring things into focus. No gray areas to distract you from getting things into perspective.
Does
ない
it get easier answering all the same questions?
Now, people ask all kinds of questions. What they ask says a lot about their character, especially when it comes to casualties.
So what's the response when they do ask about the gory details?
I oblige. See which way they want to take it. I mean, what people don't get is that they don't want me to keep going. Not really. There's only so much blood and guts people can take before they lose their appetite. Everyone has their limits.
You're very candid when describing some circumstances. Times when you felt crippled with fear, coming across the bodies of friends and colleagues.
Yeah.
ああ、
It's
ここです
clear you
ね。
care, but there's an undercurrent of detachment
めっちゃ
in the
文
way
飛ん
you
でるやん。
present some of the more difficult moments. Was that your intention?
No, I've heard that before. I just did my best to paint a clear picture.
ない。
When it comes
な
to
い。
empathy, there's no manual for that.
I have to ask again. Was it luck?
Conditioning. Conditioning and discipline. It's how I got down there in the first place, and that's how I got out. It's about keeping tethered to the task. You don't let yourself forget about the reality around you. You can't.
You saw terrible things. And even if you made it to the surface, you couldn't count on being rescued. I mean, I'd have lost my mind.
僕の頭では
Did you ever
結
feel
論まで
like
いか
you
ねん
were
ぞこ
losing
れ。
it just a little?
No. When they found me, I'd been floating on the surface for at least 5 hours. I talked with therapists and trauma experts for months. Said I was hiding the hurt. But it's not true. I made mistakes down there, yes, but did I lose my mind? No. No way.
This entire experience is defined by the fact that you came back alone. Your story started with 20 people, but ends with 1. So when it comes to telling those stories, you're the only one who can.
Yeah. There's a responsibility to get things right. For the record.
Welcome back to Open Air. I'm Emily Kaler. If you're just joining us, my guest is Kip Mattis, sole survivor of the Ocean Nova disaster. His first book, Hell or High Water, is a harrowing account of his ordeal. Earlier, we talked about the life aquatic, escaping the flooded habitat, and being lost on the seafloor inside a half-ton titanium diving suit. Kip, I know this might not be easy, but I'd like to talk about the end. Can you read that for us?
Yeah. The list is getting shorter. The hatch opens with its usual reluctance, flooding the room with light. The pod is there. I'm going home. But for now, I'm not alone.
How did you feel when you figured it out?
At that point, and that close, I was running on fear. So when I saw another suit in the room, it's almost too much to process. I couldn't believe that it was... Virgil made it. Just like me. Only I'm locked inside the pod and he's locked out. He's not coming back. And that's on me.
So are you saying that if you did something differently, that Virgil would have lived?
That's right.
ない。
Until I saw him.
ない。
Fear in his eyes. I thought I was the only one. It was a bad call.
You didn't kill him.
Really? Who did? Bad luck? I'm responsible. Look, I'm up here talking with you, and he's still out there.
Kip, it's been more than a year since all this happened. You wrote a book and told your story. Are you ready to be done?
Yeah. It's time to move on. Get myself working again.
Kip Mattis, thank you so much for spending time with me today.
Thanks for having me, Emily.
はい。